Not too long ago, gospel singer Tamela Mann captured national attention with what seemed like a miraculous transformation. She shed an incredible 200 pounds, appeared healthier than ever, and inspired thousands of fans who began tagging posts with phrases like #FaithOverFat. Some admirers even joked that her weight loss revival had reached the same level of excitement as Sunday worship, as gospel fans praised her dedication and discipline. But now, troubling reports are surfacing that this celebrated transformation came at a devastating cost. According to a leaked recording from Dr. Jackie, a celebrity surgeon who allegedly worked with Mann behind the scenes, Tamela's dramatic weight loss may have permanently damaged her voice, the very gift that made her a gospel icon. If these reports are true, the same journey that inspired so many could also mean the end of her singing career. The recording, which spread rapidly across social media before being taken down, captured Dr. Jackie explaining that Mann's vocal cords had been severely damaged. The alleged causes included dangerous black market injections, an extreme crash diet, and pressure from a sponsorship deal with a faith-based fitness company called Faith and Fit. In the leaked audio, Dr. Jackie can be heard warning that Mann's vocal cords were shredded and that she was suffering from nerve trauma. The surgeon claimed that if the treatments continued, Mann would not only lose her singing voice, but might also struggle to speak normally again. This revelation shocked fans who had celebrated her health journey. Instead of a triumphant story about faith and perseverance, the situation was starting to look like a tragedy. Behind the glowing Instagram posts and uplifting captions, insiders now say Tamela Mann was fighting for her health, while her fans believed she was thriving. Sources close to her tour describe a very different picture. Reports claim she struggled to walk between dressing rooms. Her knees often buckled during rehearsals, and backup singers sometimes had to hold her upright while performing. On stage, cameras would zoom in on her face to hide the signs of exhaustion. Eventually, her assistant sent a desperate message to Dr. Jackie. Her legs are tingling again. She can't feel her left foot. Within hours, the surgeon flew in to meet Mann mid-tour, carrying injections and private medical files. Soon after, Tamela was taken to a rehabilitation facility in Buckhead, Georgia. According to staff, everyone was required to sign strict non-disclosure agreements. Security cameras were covered, and her medical records were never submitted to insurance databases. The leaked recording suggests Mann was subjected to unauthorized metabolic injections and forced to continue performing despite serious health issues. The extreme treatments, combined with starvation-level dieting, reportedly caused her vocal nerves to deteriorate. Instead of resting, Mann was allegedly required to keep filming promotional videos for Faith and Fit. She was reportedly pressured into recording at least 2 wellness reels per week. Even while on medication and endorsing supplements, she did not actually use. Sources also allege that her so-called miracle makeover was not achieved through healthy routines. Instead, she was injected with unregulated fat-burning substances, followed a starvation diet reportedly borrowed from a disgraced beauty queen, and was placed on for drips with dangerous chemicals strong enough to damage her liver. Meanwhile, her management continued booking concerts, while Tamela was confined to bed and struggling to whisper prayers through pain. Her official social media accounts continued posting upbeat content. Videos showed her smiling in workout gear, holding smoothies, and encouraging her fans with motivational captions such as "Health is the new hallelujah." But according to nurses and insiders, these posts were recycled footage from months earlier. Fans who believed she was on a wellness journey were actually watching staged content while the singer was under intensive medical care. Her husband, David Mann, remained noticeably silent. Once known for his lively updates and supportive posts, David suddenly stopped communicating publicly. Insiders claim this was due to a strict contract that prohibited him from discussing Tamela's condition. In exchange for his silence, he was allegedly compensated with financial perks, including a luxury SUV and a gym membership. Even their son, David Jr., faced backlash when he launched a Faith Over Fatigue merchandise line during his mother's hospitalization. The line included hoodies, mugs, and shirts featuring slogans like "Walk by Faith, even if it hurts to walk." As the situation worsened, Dr. Jackie reportedly resigned from Mann's medical team. In a voicemail that later leaked online, she warned that continued pressure on the singer could lead to permanent paralysis and said she would not participate in what she called a sin. This statement sent shockwaves across the gospel community. Fans who once celebrated Mann's transformation now demanded answers. Why was her health hidden? Why were medical records allegedly altered? And why was her suffering being spun into a story of faith and wellness instead of being treated as a serious medical crisis? Evidence suggests there was a deliberate attempt to hide the truth. A leaked memo, allegedly from Mann's label, instructed staff to avoid discussing her medical condition. Instead, they were told to describe her silence, spiritual stillness, and to keep reposting old interviews and inspirational quotes. One caption posted during her reported hospitalization read, "Sometimes God makes you lie down to rest." Fans assumed it was a metaphor. In reality, sources say it was literally describing her condition in a hospital bed. Insiders claim that her official medical charts were altered to reflect routine post-op fatigue, while her actual condition included partial vocal collapse, severe joint pain, and nerve compression. Perhaps the most disturbing allegations involve efforts to profit from Mann's suffering. Insiders revealed that, while she was unconscious in the ICU, a pitch deck was sent to Netflix executives for a potential documentary titled "Stronger in Silence: The Tamela Mann Story." The pitch reportedly included staged episode outlines, mock cover designs, and even suggestions for hospital footage. Mann herself allegedly knew nothing about these plans. According to one former employee, it was as if her legacy was being planned before she had the chance to recover. When fragments of the truth began leaking online, fans reacted with outrage. Hashtags such as #FreeTamela, #LetHerRest, and #GospelMachineExposed began trending across platforms. Side-by-side comparisons of her social media posts and hospital updates went viral. Viewers pointed out that the same smoothie glass appeared in multiple videos over a span of months, suggesting recycled footage. Others highlighted how captions describing joy and wellness were posted at the same time nurses claimed she was bedridden. Churches that once hosted her concerts have gone quiet, and pastors who once praised her performances have declined to comment. The situation remains unclear. Tamela Mann has not publicly addressed the rumors, and her husband continues to remain silent. Dr. Jackie has distanced herself from the case, citing tampered records and unethical interference. What is clear, however, is that Mann's voice, once powerful enough to bring audiences to tears, may now be permanently damaged. If true, this would not only mark the end of her singing career, but also raise serious questions about the pressures placed on gospel artists to present an image of perfection at any cost. What began as a celebrated story of weight loss and renewed health has spiraled into what some are calling a gospel tragedy. Instead of a testimony about discipline and faith, it has become a warning about the dangers of image-driven industries, profit-driven contracts, and the exploitation of public figures. Tamela Mann's story, whether every detail proves true or not, reminds us of the human cost of turning people into brands. She was not just an artist, but also a wife, a mother, and a woman whose health appears to have been sacrificed in the name of marketing. For fans who once shouted, "Won't he do it?" during her weight loss journey, the question now is far more sobering. Will she ever sing again? For years, people called her a sister in faith. They stood on stages with her, prayed with her, and sold out shows with her name. But now, as her body struggles and her voice fades, many of those same people have gone silent. Not a word from the artist she once called family, not a prayer from the churches that once anointed her in front of thousands. But the fans, they're not staying quiet. They're loud, they're angry, and their message is simple: tell the truth, let her rest, stop turning her suffering into a business plan. As of today, Tamela remains in critical condition. She is preparing for what may be the most important surgery of her life, a procedure that could determine whether she will ever sing again, or even speak without pain. Meanwhile, Dr. Jackie, one of the few people still standing by her, is reportedly getting ready to take legal action, not just to defend herself, but to fight for every patient and artist who has been silenced for the sake of branding and profit. This is more than a scandal. It's not just one woman's tragedy. It's a full-blown indictment of an entire industry, one that preaches healing while quietly feeding on the brokenness of its own. Let's be clear, this story doesn't end with a hospital bed and a few deleted Instagram posts. This goes deeper, much deeper. We've been digging into what really drives the so-called gospel machine. The truth isn't found in the choir stands or the Sunday services. It's in the contracts, the hidden deals, the money that changes hands while the very people they profit from lay unconscious. Take Tamela's record label, for example. Insiders revealed that long before her body began to fail, her management had already been shaping her story into a marketing plan. Internal papers described something called Operation Glory to Glow. Yes, that was the actual name. The strategy was to turn her weight loss journey into a blueprint, something they could copy and paste onto other artists. Imagine a gospel version of The Biggest Loser. But instead of trainers and weigh-ins, there were prayer journals, diet pills, and faith-based supplements. At the center of it all was a secret partnership with a Christian wellness startup called Temple Tone. On the outside, it looked like fans were buying safe, God-approved products. But leaked emails tell a darker story. The supplements were untested, the nutritionists weren't certified, the clinical trials they bragged about in marketing campaigns, they never happened. In one shocking email, the founder of Temple Tone wrote to Tamela's management, "Her body is the testimony. We don't need the science, just the scripture." That single sentence summed up the entire scheme. Science didn't matter, safety didn't matter, the truth didn't matter. All that mattered was turning her story into profit. Behind the scenes, they were even planning subscription boxes with Tamela's face plastered on the packaging. These boxes were set to include things like fasting gummies and holy hydration drops. No one knows if they intended to pray over the ingredients before shipping them out, but they were sure ready to cash in on her image. While this machine was being built, Tamela herself was being pushed to keep performing, no matter the cost. One manager allegedly told a promoter, "She's on fluids, not in a coma. We can get her to wave from the stage for 30 seconds. Another was overheard bragging at an industry brunch about how sympathy posts were converting like crazy. In other words, her suffering was making money. They were turning her breakdown into a brand. Her pain became a product. Every tear, every limp, every photo of her in recovery was just another marketing opportunity. The betrayal didn't stop with the label. It reached into her own home. Sources say her son, David Jr., wasn't just managing his merchandise line. He was also in secret talks with a gospel streaming service to release a docuseries about Tamela's recovery before she had even agreed to it. Draft scripts included episode titles like The Collapse and Silent Strength. Notes suggested close-up shots of her wedding ring for emotional weight. At the time, Tamela hadn't even seen the script. She was still in therapy, learning how to stand again. Her husband, David Sr., didn't escape the whispers either. Reports suggest he was offered an executive producer credit on a potential Netflix documentary if he cooperated with the label's image rehab plan. This plan aimed to show Tamela in inspiring recovery moments while covering up the real story of surgeries, injections, and medical mistakes. One memo even instructed him to describe her pain as spiritual pruning, not physical breakdown. Translation: life for the paycheck, or lose your platform. And what about the churches? For years, Tamela filled stadiums, conferences, and worship nights. Her image was used to sell tickets, DVDs, and entire events. Yet now, when she needs support the most, The silence is deafening. At least 3 megachurches have quietly removed her image from future promotions. A fourth sent an internal email, encouraging staff to pivot toward new, rising voices of faith, as though Tamela had suddenly become too broken to sell. Pastors who once laid hands on her during services have not offered a single public word of prayer. None of the 5 largest churches tied to her brand have released statements, but behind the curtain, some pastors have been busy. One tried to purchase the rights to her unreleased music catalog through shady back channels. Another pitched Temple Tone with a product idea based on Tamela's Faith Under Fire story, all while she was still lying sedated in a hospital bed. While the industry circled like vultures, fans started digging for the truth. On social media, gospel Twitter began posting side-by-side comparisons of Tamela's past performances and recent wellness videos. They exposed how her body had been digitally edited, removing the braces on her knees. They showed proof that some of her so-called new videos were filmed over a year ago. One viral post read, "If she can't stand up, stop using her to prop up your pockets." The message was clear. Fans are done being fooled. Even Tamela's medical team wasn't safe from the machine. One hospital staffer reportedly tried to file a formal complaint about altered records, but was silenced by a cease and desist order from the label. That staffer has since been suspended. Dr. Jackie, however, is refusing to back down. Insiders say she is gathering documents and preparing to launch a full ethics case. Her goal: to defend her reputation, protect Tamela, and shine a light on the way countless artists have been quietly destroyed in the name of gospel glory. Meanwhile, leaked financial records show that Tamela's management team received nearly $1 million in bonus payouts in the 6 months following her collapse. These bonuses were disguised under digital growth milestones and fan engagement surges. So, while Tamela was being wheeled into surgery, her managers were cashing in. Her breakdown wasn't a tragedy. To them, it was good business. Now Tamela faces one last surgery, a vocal procedure so risky that it carries a 60% chance she may never sing again. Her team has yet to publicly admit what really caused her condition, but fans already know. They see the pattern. They understand the exploitation, and they are refusing to stay quiet any longer, because when faith becomes a filter, when miracles are manufactured, and when pain is packaged as inspiration, someone has to ask, where's the line between ministry and manipulation? And whether the industry likes it or not, that line has been crossed. We've seen the fake supplements, the staged videos, and the contracts built on lies. We've watched a label profit while their artist collapsed. We've learned about a son selling merchandise off his mother's suffering, and a husband pressured to rewrite her pain for profit. What started as a testimony has turned into a tragedy, and while Tamela Mann lies hidden behind pre-recorded devotionals and heavily edited videos, her truth is being erased in real time by an industry more interested in profit than prayer. How many more artists must be pushed until their bodies break? How long will people clap for curated miracles while the truth rots behind the scenes? If Tamela, gospel's golden voice, can be silenced and exploited, then who's next? This is bigger than one woman. It's about every artist trapped in the machine. Every pastor who chooses profit over people. Every fan asked to buy into lies disguised as faith. So, we turn the question to you. Do you believe the gospel industry is built to heal, or simply to harvest? Did Dr. Jackie do the right thing by exposing the truth? And should fans hold leaders, labels, and churches accountable for letting this happen? Tamela deserves truth. She deserves rest. She deserves better than being remembered as a brand instead of a human being. Because this time, we're not clapping, we're calling it out.